In this video, we'll look at our REST controller methods for update and delete. So we're almost done here, almost finished with this development process. So steps 6 and 7 of updating an existing employee and also delete an existing employee. And we'll add these as our REST controller methods. And just as a checkpoint here, we've already covered the first 3 methods. Now we'll cover put for doing an update and also delete for actually deleting an employee. Okay, to update an employee, we'll send over a put request for /API/employees. And in the body, we'll have JSON. And this will actually have the ID of the employee to update with the updated information for that employee. So then our controller will send back the actual response here. And this response is basically just the updated information. And we simply echo back to the REST client. And now looking at the other scenario here of deleting an employee. So we send over a delete request for API/employee/employee ID. And then the REST controller will send back deleted employee ID and they'll simply plug in that ID. Okay, so let's swing in here and let's knock out the last 2 steps of this development process of adding the update and delete methods to our REST controller. I'll open up our employee REST controller and expand the window here. And so this is for step 5, update employee. So I'll make use of the put mapping. So I have this method here, update employee. Make use of the annotation at request body because the employee data is going to come in as JSON in the request body. And this is a really straightforward example here. I simply give employee service.save, just delegate it off to the service. And that's pretty much it. Very straightforward for this example here. And this will actually handle the update for the given employee. Okay, so let's test this in Postman. I'll simply duplicate this tab. I'll change the method to put because we're doing an update. So put. And for the actual body, I'll give some updated information for a given ID. So here I want to change the ID of 1 or the employee that has the ID of 1 and give them some new information. So I'll just change the data. I'll give a different first name, last name, and email address. And this is all should apply to employee ID of 1. So an update on employee ID of 1. So we have Tim Patterson. All right, so this looks good. Let's go ahead and send it. And let's just scroll down to the bottom for the response. Okay, so basically the response is just an echo of the data that we passed in. So that's good, fine and dandy. But again, I always like to verify this in MySQL Workbench. So let's go in here. And so first, for our employee ID of 1, this is our old data. The old data is Leslie Andrews. But if we run the query again, we should see the new data or the updated data. And oh yeah, success. So for employee ID of 1, the name is now Tim Patterson. Woohoo! I like it. Good job. So this update is working as desired. And we can also test some of our previous items. So get a single employee. And so we could say get single employee ID of 1, do a send, and cool. So that's coming back through our REST API. We can also get all employees. So that's the old data. Once I hit send, then I'll get all the new data. So Tim Patterson of 1. So this is great. So all of our REST APIs are still hitting the same database and we're getting the same data back as expected. Okay, so that's basically it here for the update example.